I seem to recall reading in your Daily Herald article something about this being better than GPS, because GPS, if somebody were under a bridge or under something that couldn't get the signal through, this does do that.
Sitting right here in your studio, if I had a GPS transmitter, we couldn't track me because it wouldn't be getting in. When I did the training at our police department, I found 10 transmitters hitting inside our building. So, I mean, if we turn this thing on right now and hit it somewhere in the building, we could find it in the building. It might take a couple minutes bouncing off the walls or around the floors, but we could find it in here. GPS would never reach in here.
That's really something.
So, and again, that's something that happens with Alzheimer's patients, autism individuals, where they try to go into a building. We had one elderly gentleman with Alzheimer's missing last summer. He was missing for almost 5 hours, and we found him about a block away from his home inside a neighbor's house. They had left the door unlocked. And what happened, and again, we're searching the entire area, can't see into the house, don't know he's in there. Neighbor comes home from work and finds a gentleman sitting in the home. And same thing with the child with autism that was missing last year. The child has a fixation on electronic equipment, VCRs and video games and things like that. Found a home with an open door, and again, went inside of it. With GPS, we probably wouldn't find him. With this, not a problem.
Wow, that's tremendous. It's really cool. What other kinds of technology, perhaps, that the police department is using that's been a big aid to the department?
One of the new things that we just recently got is the name is Everbridge. It wouldn't probably mean anything to the public, but it's a reverse 911, and a lot of people would recognize that possibly, where we can place a phone call out to you. Pardon me. So this way, if we have a missing individual, we could alert you. If we have an emergency situation, we could alert you to stay inside. So that's a new thing.
So you would do that on, not necessarily on an individual person, but a neighborhood or a geographic
area. Correct, right.
Right. And we've had a couple of those in 2009.
Our Alzheimer's patient and a hostage barricade situation.
Right, yeah. What other things are going on at the police department?
Well, last year the village had the 50th anniversary, and the 50th anniversary of the police department is coming up in March. So we're going to have an open house. We'll be choosing a date shortly, so check the village's website and we'll have that information available. And
so an open house, you mean like you'll be able to go past the door buzzer?
We're still planning it, but I'm sure you're going to get to come inside the police department.
Great.
And we're trying to get some historical perspective to it, some old pictures and things like that, and really try to connect, because it's really cool to see how far the Schaumburg has come in the 50 years. We were at the barn originally, and now we got this wonderful facility next to Schaumburg High School and Volkening Lake.
Right.
So,
right.
So we've come a long way.
I was looking through some Park District archives not too long ago, and there was a swap of land. The village and the Park District, I think, swapped out a little bit of the police department where you are now, and that we have Volkening Lake. So that was interesting and certainly benefited both of us.
We would have had an amphibious unit if we would have been in the lake. I guess that was a good swap for us.
You'd be floating on a deck or something. It would be interesting.
The Schaumburg Marine Patrol. But,
yeah, that's right.
But that's what's coming up on the horizon for us. So we're kind of excited about to have that opportunity, and Chief Howard is really excited about working with the community, and that's another thing. We're just trying to open our hands and say we're part of you guys, you're part of us. Let's all work together.
And you guys do a tremendous job. I know one thing that I experienced with you is I own a townhouse that I rent, and you conduct a education course for people in that situation, and it's really informative. I mean, it's great. So it tells you what you can expect of your renters and what kind of laws that you have and they have and so forth. And so that's a service that you wouldn't think. I'd never realized that the police department.
You'd never expect that to come from a police department. Again, that's another neat thing that it sounds like I'm bragging on Schaumburg, but
it's okay.
We were the first. We were the first city in Illinois to do that full time.
Wow.
And we were the first city to have an ordinance anywhere in the country. That makes it mandatory, and now towns not only throughout Illinois but the United States are modeling themselves after what we've done. So.
Sure. And I bet you have decreased your situations with evictions and so forth because of that.
Yes, I mean, not only have we reduced problems, but we've helped quality of life, because not only the things like the evictions, but noise complaints and fights and disturbances have been reduced. So it's been very beneficial.
Great. John, that's terrific. How can people get a hold of you either for this or any other services that the Police Department might offer.
Well, if you're saying this, I'm sure you live in Schaumburg through the cable system. So we have 311 now in Schaumburg, which is the information number. So just calling 311 asking for us, or the regular number 847-882-3534, or me directly at 847-348-7276. And anybody interested in CareTrack should contact me directly, and I'll be happy to talk to them.
Okay. Well, I got to go back a step here. So anybody that lives within the village of Schaumburg can dial 311.
Right.
That's a non-emergency number?
Yes, it's an information number. It's like, in fact, again, outside of Chicago, we're only the second community in Illinois that has a 311 system.
Really?
So just like somebody would dial 411 for a phone call, any village question, any village information, 311 gets you right to the village switchboard operator. They have a bunch of information at their fingertips, and if they can't help you, they'll direct you to the people in the village that
Wow.
can.
So that's not only for police or fire, but
Anything
it
in
would
the
be
village.
public works
Yep,
or,
you got
hey, what about
community
my...
development, building permits, you name it. If you want something from the village, 311.
Wow. And that's 24 hours?
24 hours a day.
Wow. Very good.
Now, just one little question. If you dial it from your cell phone, it depends on where the cell phone tower is. Because if you're near the border of the village, if you're hitting a cell phone tower in another community, you're either going to get this number's not available, or you get connected to the city of Chicago. So, but if you're dialing from a landline, 311 will get you right to us.
Wow. Terrific. You're a wealth of information.
I try.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to talk
Sure,
about this.
Sure. And we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back.